So today I'm going to be talking about mental health. My mental health at the minute, um, it's going to be pretty much unedited. I'll maybe edit out these spaces and the pauses, but other than that, it's going to be unedited. The reasons you'll hear in a bit. I'm not moaning or whining. I don't expect sympathy. I'll sort myself out. I always do. But I just want to discuss it. I've never had an audience or anyone to talk to in the past, so I've usually dealt with it myself or with a very few select people because it's not something that is a first time. I've dealt with it for most of my life. I've fought against it pretty well, to be fair. Um, but it just seems to be a little bit more amplified this year. And I think there's a number of factors in play. So anyone that doesn't watch the channel, if this is your first time, I went to Thailand for the first time. Well, the first time abroad, first time to Thailand, and I had the most amazing time. Um, it was fantastic. Let me turn that this way. Yeah, I just had an awesome time. Obviously, it was my first time ever going abroad, so I don't really know any different if I'm being honest. But Thailand just there's just a feeling, like I've said this before. There's a feeling when you get off that plane, when you walk out that airport, it just hits you straight away, and it stayed with me through the whole of the holiday. Um, and it was hard. It was hard to leave. It was hard to come back home. Um, so obviously I did 2 weeks I was there. I got back home. It didn't seem in too bad of a mindset. I really didn't fancy going back to work, but I did. And I thought about starting a YouTube channel because I was so passionate and I enjoyed myself out there so much. I thought, well, I'll start a YouTube channel and share my experiences. Which yeah, that's swallowed up a whole lot of time just recently. It seems to be all I can think of at certain times, but we'll go into that in a bit further. I'll carry on. I then booked to go again next month now. The 17th, I arrive. I'm going back to Phuket for 12 days. So the first point is it Thailand, post-Thailand blues? Maybe a little bit, but the fact that I'm going back there in less than a month and a half, um, I don't know that it is, but I think it's more to do with the fact of the climate change and um, things along them lines, which is something I've also always suffered with as well, which is a bit of seasonal depression. That's the time of the year. This is the time of the year now that I find the hardest when the days are very short. You go to work in the dark, you come out in the dark. It's cold, and like I say, I usually struggle with that anyway. But the fact that we've had such a awful, awful summer, another thing I've discussed, where I think we had about 2 weeks of sunshine, and it rained up until June, July. It just rained, rained, rained. Um, yeah, that coupled with the fact that then I went away for 2 weeks to a boiling hot country where it was sunshine every day, and then came back to back to the British weather. I really think that's amplified the seasonal depression this year. Um, it's something I've heard quite a few people talk about. They always struggle this time of year. Um, it's been linked to a vitamin D deficiency. So I do supplement with vitamin D, but that doesn't seem to be helping a lot at the moment. Um, the fact that I'm off work for 2 weeks, I think It's been since I've been off work where I've really had time to think about things, and be on my own most of the time. That it's really started to hit home. Before I went away to Thailand, my mental health was in a fantastic place, probably the best it's ever been. Um, I was in the best condition body wise I'd ever been in my life, and that's something now I'm even struggling to go to the gym. And if you know me, I go every day near enough religiously. Um, it's a major factor in keeping your mental health up. But I'm struggling to sleep at night, and I'm that tired in the morning that I'm just struggling to get to the gym even, and I just tell myself I'm going to go later, and obviously that never materializes. The food I've been eating isn't been as clean as I'm used to. Um, I think you sort of tell yourself it's Christmas time and you can relax a little, and then that relaxation is just like a rolling stone going down a hill. It gets faster and faster and faster, and eventually you're just eating rubbish all the time, which doesn't benefit your mental health in any way, shape, or form. Eating nutritiously is massively important, and I'm just not doing that either at the moment. And then the other thing is how much time I'm spending on YouTube. Like I say, I started it because I was passionate about talking about Thailand. I like talking in general, so that's what was seen as a good thing, and it's an opportunity for maybe one day to be able to earn a little bit of extra income from it, and have the opportunity to have a little bit more time off work and travel a bit more, and then show you guys my travels, which is the dream. But I'm spending that much time. Like YouTube Studio is just dangerous. Um, yeah, I just end up watching it and watching it and watching it, waiting for numbers to go up that rarely ever seem to go up. That I've had a good start. Putting stuff in perspective, I've had a brilliant start, and I can't complain. I love doing it, but I think I've invested that much mentally into it. I'm a little bit drained at the minute, which is why this video is going to sort of go out with minimal editing, because I just don't have the mental capacity to sit there and go through and edit it all. Like constantly questioning, is this good enough? Will people like it? What am I going to talk about? Because at the end of the day, let's be real. I've got a channel about Thailand. I've only been there once or 2 weeks. So, so you know what I mean. Eventually, what do I talk about? Can I expand to other areas? Maybe about mental health problems, and I don't really. I've made a video about the state of the UK at the minute, which yeah, it's just negativity, 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 and I've sort of fed into that. So I need to stay away from that. I'm not into political arguments, because whoever's in power, in my opinion, it's the same end result. It, Downing Street's a breeding ground for greed at the end of the day. So we'll get off that before before I go into another rant. So yeah, maybe I need to give YouTube just a break for a few days, and just live a sort of more normalish life for a few days. But I'm back at work on Monday. I'm working away in Bolton. I'm a mechanical fitter, so maybe a bit more routine back into my life will get me back into the swing of things. Obviously, I've only got a month and a half to work, and then I'll be going back to Thailand for 12 days, 12 nights, or something like that. So I'm going to take all my stuff with me and try and vlog and video as much as I can, because it's a beautiful place, and I want to show off some of the things that you don't really see much of on YouTube. A lot of it's to do with the nightlife and the bar scene. And while that is great, don't get me wrong, there's a hell of a lot more to the place as well. So I'll be doing that. Definitely need to get back into the swing of things with the gym and my eating. And I know it sounds like, oh well, it's easy to say that, but getting into the gym and your physical fitness, it goes hand in hand with your mental health. It definitely does. And while I'm not saying it will solve all of your problems, it definitely is a big help. And anything you can do, even if it's just going outside for a walk with the dog or taking a hike somewhere. I know the weather's not the greatest, but just get yourself out for the day. And these are things that I usually do to try and pull myself out of it. It's it's a constant battle. It's one that will probably never go away. You can put yourself in the greatest position, and it only takes something slightly just to knock it off. But you can always get yourself back into that position of good mental health that you're in. And it's something I'll work at now. I'll take a couple of days just with my own thoughts and get back to work Monday, get my head down, and you got to get on with it. And again, I'm not trying to make it sound easy because it isn't. It's hard work, and there's probably some people. Well, there is some people in a lot worse places than I am currently. Um, and like I say, I'm not making myself out to be this poor person. There's I realise there's people with a lot worse situations than I have, but that doesn't stop your head telling yourself that doesn't stop your head from working the way it does. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So if there's anyone else out there who's feeling the same way at the minute, I know this time of year it's quite a bad time of year for a lot of people. Like I say, with the weather, the short days, Christmas time, obviously, it brings a lot of bad memories to people. But anyone that ever needs to talk, I'm always here. I'm quite experienced in the matter. And don't ever be afraid to talk about it. I mean, coming from a man's perspective, it affects women just as bad as well. But coming from a man's perspective, where obviously there's certain people in society telling you now that you shouldn't feel like this and you should just get on with it and be a man. But part of the way of you getting on with it and being a man is to talk about it. It helps no end. I'm not a big fan of modern medicine and antidepressants and stuff. And again, no hard feelings to anyone that takes it. It just not something that works for me. I think talking about it, being open and honest about it is a big thing. So I'll let you get on there. Obviously, I've been waffling and waffling on. Like I say, talk, get some exercise, go outside. If there is sunlight, make the most of it. Go and get some. Um, Also, if you do suffer seasonal depression, try vitamin D. It's, it makes a bit of a difference, I suppose. It's hard to gauge, but just give it a try. And yeah, if you could, usual stuff, like, subscribe, share it, whatever you can do, that'd be brilliant. And I'll see you in a few days, probably.